Good afternoon, everyone. We'll just wait for a few more seconds so you could get settled in for today's interactive and informative webinar. Definitely encourage you to introduce yourself. What are some branding strategies that you have already incorporated or planning to incorporate in today's in your business? So that Michelle will be able to interact, provide some additional ideas, unorthodox and innovative strategies, so you could create that brand experience for your small business as well. Also, some general housekeeping items. This is a recorded webinar, so all participants will be receiving today's presentation and also the recording through our YouTube channel. Definitely encourage you to like and subscribe as well. And then I'll go over and briefly talk about what is the Miami-Dade Business Navigator program. It is a cooperative agreement through the Small Business Administration, in which, next slide, in which it was established in part of the American Rescue Plan Act of 2021 to help you, the small business owners, in the economic recovery. The overall goal is simple, is to assist businesses that are owned by veterans, women, as well as socially and economically disadvantaged individuals. Along with the Florida SBDC at FIU, we also have 6 other organizations to provide no-cost business consulting for you. If it's access to capital, business planning, marketing, government contracting, how to start your business, operations and strategy. We have Ascendis, we have branches, the EDC of South Miami-Dade, the Miami-Dade Chamber of Commerce, Prospera, Startup FIU Procurement, along with the Florida SBDC at FIU. So all these 7 organizations are working as one to assist you, once again, the small business owners in the economic recovery and to grow and succeed at the same time. Once again, the sole focus is to create that local community navigator approach to assist those small businesses in the 3 pillars, in the consulting, mentoring, and training. If your business is located in Palm Beach, Broward, Miami-Dade, Monroe County, we'll be more than happy to assist you and assist with your business needs. If your business is located outside of the Quad County area, by all means, send me an email. My email will be in the chat, so we could introduce you and connect you with your local small business resource partner. All right. And then I want to thank you all for attending today's webinar. And Michelle, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. So today we are talking about all things branding, how to create your brand experience. And here are some of today's objectives. We're going to define branding. We're going to show you how to create a brand that attracts your target audience. I will be sharing some branding statistics that are important for every business owner. What are the elements of branding? How your brand drives your marketing efforts, the importance of a brand deck and how to use it, and also give you some tools that will help you expand your brand. So by a show of, you can either raise your hands or use the chat, but what is branding to you? What does branding mean to you? Does anybody want to share? Erica Miller raised her hand. You can share in the chat. Write in the chat, what does branding mean to you? Is it logo? Is it what you're posting on social media? Yes, it's voice of the company. Very good. Your logo. Any more? Okay, so I'm so sorry. I don't know what's going on here. All right, so branding defined is where the customer is the hero of your branded business and not your brand. What does that mean? It means that often we build businesses from our reference point, right? We know what we want to drive our business forward and all the things that we need to have in place, right, to make profits faster. But truthfully, it's when you make the customer the center of your brand that you make money with ease. So I highly recommend Donald Miller's book. He's the author of Building a Story Brand. And you'll notice a lot that I'll speak about today is in reference from that book, because it has driven many businesses to make profits faster. Rule number one in branding, and this is probably the reason why most business owners skip this so important part of your marketing efforts. It's really important for you to be intentional about your brand. And what does intentional mean? It means that you're actively educating your audience about who you are. You're gaining feedback on who they believe you are, and you're being intentional about how you communicate your brand, with less focus on the money aspect. It's more about maintaining a healthy business representation. So you want to give your customers a great experience, understand who your customer is, and follow them on their buyer journey. So top branding statistics. And this is so important, and you'll see why you'll want to build a brand deck after this. It takes 5 to 7 impressions for people to remember your brand. Color improves brand recognition by up to 80%. 73% of consumers love a brand because of helpful customer service. Presenting a brand consistently across all platforms can increase revenue by up to 23%. A third of the world's top 100 brands include the color blue in their logo. 72% of the best brand names are made up words or acronyms. Brands with poor company branding pay 10% higher in salaries. Over 70% of brand managers consider building an audience more important than converting sales. 89% of shoppers stay loyal to brands that share their values. And brands that blog generate 67% more leads. All of this requires intentionality, right? It requires time, intentionality, and really understanding your client and how they interact when they're looking for a product or service like your business. So branding that lasts, right? Gets stronger over time. And here's a list of some brands that we all know so well. We know McDonald's. I mean, I'm sure any one of us can rehearse the logo, right? I'm loving it. Starbucks, we know what Starbucks is known for, mostly making us late to work or to where we need to be. Nike, they're known for making us feel like an athlete. Do we know anybody that has had Disney in their lives from childhood, whether you were able to visit Walt Disney World or just received a doll or a coloring book? So these are all brands that represent something, and they have seeped our subconscious. We understand them with certain part of our life. So now let's talk about elements of a brand, and there are quite a few. So there's brand truth, brand tone, knowing your customer, your vision and mission statements, knowing how to pitch, your values, positioning, ambassadors, content creation, logo and tagline, color and text. Brand truth. This is the absolutely most important part of building a brand or creating a brand experience. It's where you understand who you are as a business and really representing the true essence of your business, evoking an emotion with your potential client where they can't see themselves doing business with anybody else. So it's very much attracting your audience on an emotional level. That's why it's really important for you to understand your brand tone before you start crafting any messages, before you create that logo, which is what we tend to do as soon as we have this great idea for a business, right? I would say refrain from that. First, understand what your brand tone is, which is going to be, how does your client want to receive the information? Is your brand a quirky brand? Is it a very professional brand? Is it humorous? Is it relatable? And then once you're clear on what your brand tone is, now it's time to start showing up on social and writing crafted messages in that tone. It's also important to know your customer. And the best way to do this is to build what we call a buyer persona, also synonymous with a brand avatar. It's the same thing. It's a fictional character that represents your ideal client. If you've been in business for a while, we all have an ideal client. That one client that if we had more of those, one, we'd make profits much faster, and two, owning a business wouldn't feel like work, right? So think about that ideal client and what are the shared common interests that you have with that ideal client? They say clients that share your values and interests will convert faster. And let's face it, we are here to solve a challenge for our clients and customers, right? So what are their challenges? Does your website speak to the challenges when you're creating content? Are you speaking to how you solve their challenges? The important thing about a brand is that you're always growing with your customers. This is how you find new products and services to offer that continue to grow your brand and your business. One strategy to use once you know your customer is market segmentation. Why? Because many of us have a few different brand avatars. You may be doing, B2B business, business to business, or business to customer. How you talk to a B2B is not going to be the same way you talk to a B2C. Also, your client's interests may be different. You may offer several different products, and maybe some clients will be interested in one product versus another. I use market segmentation with my emails because I have prospects that I go after, but how I'm talking to them and how I'm presenting myself as a business is going to be a completely different tone and a different crafted message than it would be with somebody who's already an existing customer. I'm sure many of you can think about, or even go into your emails right now and see some emails from companies that maybe bought lead lists and are just sending you emails that have no relation to you or to your business. And those are easy to identify. Versus you have global brands like Sephora or Macy's that understand your purchasing behavior, and they'll send you emails related to what that behavior was. Is everybody still with me? If you have any questions, just ask in the chat. Another strategy is geographic segmentation. So this is when you're categorizing your audience base by location. And these categories can be broad or narrow depending on the data you're trying to gather. So, we would love to have business from all 50 states, right? But our ideal client may not be in all 50 states, or they may not even be in certain counties of Florida. So it's really important to know your customer and their location. Demographic segmentation. So this involves grouping consumers based on shared demographic characteristics to create a better marketing campaigns, better experience. So some of them include age, gender, income, occupation, marital status, family size, nationality. Just this morning, I was helping a client with their branding, and they were super clear that they were looking for law school graduates between the ages of 28 and 32. I mean, super clear about who they really want to market to and drive their business forward. There's psychographic segmentation. So where groups are formed according to psychological traits that influence consumption, habits drawn from people's lifestyles and preferences. So a company that uses psychographic segmentation a lot is actually JetBlue. If you've ever flown JetBlue, they have figured out how to segment their email systems according to where we travel to, how we find them. Even their emails are very quirky and cheeky. They try to make you feel like they're your friend because of the surveys they've done where they got feedback that they wanted, customers wanted friendly service. So the characteristics to psychographic segmentation are things like segmenting your clients by values, by their beliefs, maybe budget, by their pain points, social and cultural norms, or even activities. Behavior segmentation. So this filters potential customers based on shared behavioral patterns. So that could be hobbies, habits, purchasing style, social media use, media consumption. If you've ever done a Facebook digital ad, you can segment people by what platforms they're on, or even what type of phones they're using. And it really helps you hyper target your ideal customer. So now let's talk about crafting messages. We know our ideal customer, we know who they are, we know their behaviors, their psychographics, their demographic, but now we need to construct well-crafted messages that speak to them, but also speak to how awesome your business is and what your value add is, right? So your vision statement is your business's declaration of its midterm and long-term goals, stating what they want to become in the future. In this example, we have Southwest Airlines. So Southwest wants to be the world's most loved, most efficient, and most profitable airline. The best way that I would suggest to craft this statement is think about where you want to take your business. You know, are you thinking right now day to day or 1 year out? I would say push yourself a little further and think about where do you see your business in 5 years, in 10 years, and craft a message to that. And you'll see how all your business strategies will align to your vision statement. Now you have your mission statement. So this is an action-based statement that declares the purpose of an organization and how they serve their customers. This is your why. Your mission statement is your why. Why are you doing this that goes beyond making money? Okay, and this is where you want to evoke emotion with your client. So Nike is a really great example. Bring inspiration and innovation to every athlete in the world. If you have a body, you're an athlete, right? I know that's how I feel when I put my Nike sneakers on. I hope you're also noticing that the messaging doesn't have to be long. It doesn't have to be a paragraph, 2 paragraphs, or pages, because the point of branding is for the messaging to be short, succinct, concise, and consistent. You want to seep into the subconscious of your ideal client. So the longer the crafted message, the harder it is for you to memorize, and the harder it is for your client to remember. Your value statement, also known as your value proposition. In some websites, you'll see it as our approach. This is a set of ideals that explain what your company believes in and how it operates. It informs employees, customers, prospects about what principles guide your business. This is your how. This is how when you're crafting this message, I want you to think about, what's your loyalty program? Is it that when your clients walk in, you know their name, you know their birthday? Is it that when they cancel an order, you send them an email, asking them why and how you can make it better? So here in this example, it's Nike again, because they're a global brand. Their values is do the right thing, be on the offensive always, serve athletes, create the future of sport, and win as a team. So think about, what is your value prop? What do you bring to your clients? What's going to help you deepen loyalty with your clients, where they go out and become your super fan? And now we have the elevator pitch. So I love networking. I'm not sure if any of you do. You can let me know in the chat. But it's important to have an elevator pitch when you are out and about representing your brand and business. Why? If you are, like I am, very passionate about my business, it's really easy to talk about your brand and business and lose someone in the mix. They'll give you like a blank stare because you're just so passionate, but you're not really speaking to who your end client is, what you offer, how you stand apart from your competitors, and what's the end result, right? And so the more succinct your statement, the deeper connections you'll have when you're out there networking, and people will remember you. So make sure to utilize opportunities like parties, conferences, even chance encounters to practice your elevator pitch. And again, the key element is that you should know your client, you should know who you are, what you do, and what's the benefit of doing business with you, why you and no one else. And make sure you highlight the value of your product and service. So remember, make a lasting impression. That's what you want your elevator pitch to do for you. And always make sure to exchange business cards or continue the conversation right after. Here's a sample elevator pitch. We are a mobile dog grooming service that comes to you on your schedule. We provide a full service list of grooming needs for the dog owner at reasonable prices, Monday through Sunday. Our stand-up Sprinter van is customized and fully equipped to operate as a spa for dogs with large windows and skylights that create a pleasant environment that lessens stress. All we need is a parking space. Make appointments online, www.qualish.com. Happy dog, happy life. So clearly it's a grooming service. They service dogs. They are available Monday to Sunday. And what's great about them, they're mobile, right? So we know exactly how they stand apart from their competition. So how do we find that out? By positioning. So positioning is an effective brand strategy that maximizes the customer relevancy and competitive difference. I would recommend that you always know who your top 3 competitors are and write a list of their pros and cons, and then figure out how you fit in the mix. You'll be amazed. Sometimes you'll find new products that you can offer, or some messaging that you can use that really helps you stand out and steal some market share. Your logo and tagline. So your logo is a graphic symbol used by your company, which allows it to be recognized by your audience. But it's really important to be intentional with your logo. Many businesses make the mistake of, the first thing they do is get a logo together before they even know who their client is or what the crafted messages are. So make sure that you do the deep work and find out who your customer is, and that whatever graphic you choose really speaks to the value of your brand. And also have a tagline, just a really short declaration where your ideal client is going to see it and identify themselves in that tagline. They're going to say, yes, that's me. I need to do business with that company. So a nice example is a More Coffee Bar, brewing love, one cup at a time. So we've talked about setting your tone. We've talked about crafting a message. We talked about how important it is to be intentional. And so here is where we need to set our tone with our content, where we need to be intentional with what is it that we want to present to our client? How are we going to show them that we solve their problems? So they say images say 1,000 words and videos say 1,000,000. Whenever you're creating content for your social platforms, I want you to think about your tone. I want you to think about your message. And I want you to think about your target client, your brand avatar. Do they see themselves when they are landing on your page? And here are some tools to create some really great content. There's Canva, Ripple, which makes really great videos. I've used it, and iMovie. And these are just a few. There's so many in the market. All right, let's talk about how important color and text is. And I spoke about intentionality quite a few times. There is a psychology in colors when it comes to converting clients. I did mention earlier stats about how many brands usually have blue in their logo. Well, blue speaks to trust, as you can see. AT&T and Lowe's uses blue. Yellow, optimism. We have UPS and Best Buy. So, I mean, it's really important for you as a brand to understand, what are you trying to represent? What do you want your client to feel? Again, what is that emotion you're evoking? And even down to the color, there's a psychology to how we feel when we look at certain colors, like what really converts. It's also important to be intentional because your employees are your ambassadors. They are, I mean, we can't build businesses alone, right? So having a brand where you're clear on your customer, you're clear on your messaging, on your tone, helps your employees buy into your brand and become also your super fans, right? And you want to have a common value for the entire company. So building a brand is not just important for your customers, but it's also important for building company culture. And it also helps you with finding branding opportunities. Once you start building a brand and you see it visually in a brand deck, you'll start to notice some business strategies that are now really obvious and that you want to execute on, whether it's how to position your logo or what other companies you can become a referral partner with. Where should you get, where should you focus for your brand awareness? Let's say you're a lawyer that specializes in auto accidents. Well, maybe it's smarter now to have a billboard above an auto shop, right? So that's what branding helps you do. It helps you be super intentional and really follow your customer on their buying journey, on their purchasing journey, and allows you to show up where it matters, which has a direct effect on your return on investment whenever you're investing in marketing, right? Less times of you feeling that the marketing isn't working. If you brand correctly, if you focus on your clients, I promise you, the marketing will score every single time. So get your logo out there, add it to your website, super important, because that's how your client is analyzing if they want to do business with you, right? Again, knowing your customer. So if their journey is to Google you and they find your website, make sure your logo is there. Also have your logo in your email signature, so that they can quickly identify you, your social media channels, and also your business card. Now, in today's world of being a business owner, we're also content creators, right? And just yesterday, Instagram released Threads, which is a direct competitor with Twitter. Everybody's going nuts on it. I think I've threaded a few times today. Well, once you have built out your brand and you're, again, super clear about who your client is, what your value prop is, you'll understand that you don't have to be in all the places. It's really best that you choose the platforms where you know your ideal customer is going to be. That way, you're spending less time and less money trying to convert those clients. So here are some benchmarks and tools for you today. One, now you have everything you need to build a brand deck. So once that brand deck is done, you want to distribute it to your partners, your vendors, and employees so that everybody's on the same page and they're representing you the way you want to be represented. Consistency is key. So make sure that you're investing in graphic design so that your logo, your colors, your fonts are consistent throughout. You can use Canva for that. You can use Wix, who has a logo creator. There's also Fiverr and Upwork where you can hire a designer. And Mojo will allow you to create some really awesome graphics. So now you're thinking, okay, I have a brand, I have visuals. Now, how do I expand my brand, right? Like, how do I expand my brand awareness? And I think one of the challenges as business owners we all have is time and just having all these social platforms that we feel we need to be on it. So I'm a big proponent for automation, especially for social media and email. Why? Because it's free. So why not make sure that you're showing up consistently, at least on social and email? So some really good social publishers, automated publishers are Hootsuite, Buffer, Later, and Sprout Social. And for emails, you have MailChimp, Constant Contact, and Klaviyo. And once you have a brand deck done, it's really easy to come up with those catchy captions, writing emails so that you're showing up consistently in your clients' inboxes or prospects' inboxes will be so easy. So the benefits of a brand deck. Well, it helps kick off your brand style by identifying your ideal client, their challenges and interests. You can add your logo guidelines. It's really important that you're clear on how you want your logo to be used because the whole point is that it's recognizable and it is your brand signature. Include your brand color palette. Make sure that you're clear in your typography and like the different fonts that you're using. Specify the imagery and the iconography, I'm having issue with that word, that makes up your visual style. Craft a succinct and consistent message that speaks to your target audience, and make sure that the brand deck speaks to the company culture that you're creating. It is a shareable document. I also like to refer to it as a living document because our businesses are not the same year one as they are year 3, year 4, year 5, right? Why? Because our clients' interests change, and so we're growing with them. So does your brand deck. So you want to make sure it's always available. And also, I love my brand deck because it helps me with my confidence. Whenever I'm doubting myself or if I'm prospecting, I just open up my brand deck and it helps me see myself, and all that I've acquired and I've achieved, and I feel comfortable now sharing that with the prospect. So recap. Branding is more than logos, signs, and images. Brands that last are built on intentionality and consistency. A branding strategy with a well-crafted message attracts your ideal customer. Good branding can get you noticed, but great branding can help you stand out. And I shared a few tools with you to help you expand your brand awareness. So if you want to continue to connect with us, make sure that you visit miamibusinessnavigator.com. Here's our contact number. You can email us. Please follow us on social and also YouTube, where I believe this video will live so that you can refer to it at any time.
Yes, pretty much throughout the entire summer we're having like the summer small business initiative. So we're almost every day we're having a webinar from all different facets of what small business entails, and all of these webinars tie into one over the other. So through today's webinar, we also have 3 exciting webinars that will parlay from today's presentation to enhance the conversation with our team, but at the same time giving you additional tools for your toolbox for your business growth. So Michelle, I do have some questions that I have received. What is a brand mantra, and how important do you think it is in 2023?
I believe a brand mantra is synonymous with a tagline. It's super important. I mean, I think the number one reason is attention spans. People's attention spans are shorter now than ever. People are watching YouTube videos for 8 seconds. If you have a website and look at the analytics, most people aren't reading past 1 minute on your website. So it's really important that your crafted messages are succinct, short, concise, and very to the point. So it's actually very important in 2023.
How would you know your customer behaviors or consumer or customer segmentations?
I love this question. So this is where you have to put your customer thinking hat on. You have actually not thinking hat. You have to walk in their shoes. I just had this conversation earlier today, actually. If you don't know your customer very well, your marketing efforts are not going to do well, to be honest. So the best thing you can do is study your target audience, okay? So for example, my target client is business owners that have been in business 3 to 5 years. They are doing all the things, but they may have never had corporate experience, so they don't understand the pillars that basically help make a business successful. How did I get there? A lot of trial and error. You know, I've worked with brand new entrepreneurs, and I've seen that, you know, their challenges are a little different than an entrepreneur that's been in business 3 to 5 years, or even 5 to 10 years. So I would say, try for one day wearing the shoes of your ideal customer and follow them along on their purchasing journey, right? Like from the moment they wake up, what are they doing? Are they going straight to social? When they need your product and service, how are they looking for it? Are they asking referral partners? Are they Googling? Are they going straight to Instagram, LinkedIn? But I would say start there. Wear the shoes of your ideal client.
And coincidentally, July 26th, we're actually having a webinar, Understanding Your Customers.
Yeah.
So definitely I put the registration link in the chat. So definitely encourage you to register. Because it, like I said, it's about taking taking each presentation for the next level, the next phase.
And I'll say one more thing. Um, write down their chat, like think about your products and services and whether you've been in business for a while or not. What have they told you about your product and service? Your client will tell you, or a friend of the family will tell you, like why they would use your product of service, like what is it solving for? And then it's like reverse engineering. Okay, so now what are their problems? Like where would they be today? You know?
And then how do I create a signature logo for my emails? I should have had this by now.
Canva is they have great templates, so you don't even have to be a graphic designer, and there's a free version of Canva. So you can just pick any of their templates and just replace the information with your information.
How can we know in what platforms or digital channels our target customers are located? What digital marketing tools can we use?
Okay, so again, this goes back to knowing your customer. So are you a visual business? Like, are you a retail business? In the salon field? Then you want to be on platforms that are visual, right? Which is going to be Instagram. Are you targeting other business owners? Then if you're targeting other business owners, you want to be on LinkedIn. So it's again, wearing the shoe of your ideal client and understanding their behaviors.
How can you market well in the medical field with a new practice as our target patient marketing?
What type of practice is it?
All right. As a participant is responding, I'll ask another question for you.
Okay, so again, it's knowing your customer. I would say the best method of marketing is one, make sure you have a brand deck done so that you have a well-crafted message, and then building out what we call an inbound marketing system. So in the medical field, it's actually your patients that are going to be your super fans. So it's going to take a little bit of paid marketing, like pay-per-clicks on Google, getting lead gen, getting information from them, some strategic partnerships, like with the different insurance carriers or other doctors that don't compete with you, but can refer business to you. But also now engaging all of these clients once they've been through your system, right? So it shouldn't be that they leave your practice and they never hear from you again. You should definitely be showing up on socials with constantly giving them tips or teaching them about something, being a thought leader in the medical space, and accompanying that with emails.
Okay. Okay. What are the veterans' advantages?
I think there's several advantages for veterans. I think just the discipline, right? The fact that from the career that you had to learn to be very disciplined. You're great communicators. So you actually are awesome when it comes to crafting messages, straight to the point, very succinct, and tend to be very consistent. So those are all great attributes for owning a business.
Is it okay to change your logo and brand color even after years in business?
Yes, it totally is. And it's actually very common. It's happened. I can't think of a brand right now. Actually, McDonald's has changed its logo quite a few. Like that M has changed quite a few times. And even their locations, right? The colors haven't changed, but definitely the look and feel has changed. Yes, it's very common. And the reason why it's common is because you probably, when you started your business, you created everything from your perspective. But now, as your business has grown, you've gotten to know your customer and what they want to see. And so it's very common and natural to want all your marketing assets and branding assets to speak to that client and represent them.
Okay. All right. Let's see. Okay, I don't have any additional questions. Let's see. Yeah, so once again, I want to thank you all for attending today's webinar. At the same time, oh, I do have a question. If you have a question or raise your hand, please put it in the chat or in the Q&A. I'll be more than happy to answer it for you. Yeah, so like another example, like as what Michelle was talking about, in regards of Amazon, like it pretty much started, with the logos, of like a little journey. Then afterwards, we just became the Amazon with a smiley face,
Yes,
as the year started. So, and it's this transition for 30 years, so.
that's a good one.
Yeah. Okay, I have another question right here. Do you recommend using your image as part of your logo?
It depends on how you're building your business. Are you building your business to scale where at some point there's a succession plan? You're giving the business to your children or you sell off the business. It totally depends on how you're structuring your business. There are some people that want their persona to be attached to their brand. That's totally fine. Also, people buy into people, right? Just recently, I saw a statistic that said out of the 100 top TikTok accounts that have millions of followers, 97 are people.
I have a social media question. When representing your business, what are the best platforms?
Okay, so again, this goes back to knowing your customer. So it's figuring out where is it that they go to find products and services like yours. Visual businesses that's going to be TikTok and Instagram. Whereas if you're marketing to other business owners, then it would be Instagram and LinkedIn. Right now, YouTube Shorts, if you're not posting on YouTube Shorts, you're missing on an opportunity because there's a lot of viewership on YouTube Shorts right now.
Okay. Okay. What do you suggest if a new business doesn't have a logo and hasn't done the work you just have laid out? What do you use in the time being?
I'm going to suggest that you do the work because if you're not already finding yourself overwhelmed and overworked and feeling like you can't do all the things, it's most likely because you haven't done this, what we call deep work in the business, which is really figuring out who your client is, how you want to show up to them. And I promise you, your business strategies will be clarified, finding clients will be easier, and you will definitely make profits faster.
Yes, the presentation and the recorded link of our YouTube channel will be provided to all participants today. Okay. All right. So I want to thank you all for attending today's webinar. Also, I want to thank Michelle for an interactive. You got great praises from all the participants as I've been getting personalized emails. So thank you all once, Michelle. And like I said, anything that we could do to assist you, I'm definitely looking forward to seeing you at the next webinars. And just shoot us an email, and we're more than happy to assist you with any way we can at our capacity. So thank you all once again, and have a good afternoon. Take care.
Bye-bye.